Let me see. Okay, in theory, we'll now start, Charles, but I'm going to put a little announcement out on Twitter.
Yeah, announce it real quick.
So, how was ShmooCon?
Oh, ShmooCon was pretty good, man. I only showed up for Saturday because originally I didn't have a ticket. And I just showed up to do LobbyCon, and this gentleman was real nice enough to just give me his ticket. Yeah.
Yeah. LobbyCon sells out fast, but ShmooCon sells out pretty much instantaneously.
Yeah. It was damn near next to impossible to get a ticket with ShmooCon. You know? But it is all fun. All fun. And then Raspberry Pi Zero update. I'm putting that in the show notes.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go through the couple of cons that are upcoming.
Yeah.
Scroll up my list. Got B-Sides Huntsville coming up on February 2nd and 3rd. I'll only be there for the 3rd, but 2nd apparently is be training sessions. B-Sides Tampa on February 17th. B-Sides Nova on February 24th, which I'll see you at.
Oh, yeah.
B-Sides Columbus on March 2nd. B-Sides Indy March 10th. And B-Sides Chattanooga March 24th. And then
right.
April 14th. And we'll leave it at that for right now. And I was involved with some guy, okay, his name escapes me at the moment. Contacted Jason Street about some kind of diversity and infosec thing. And then it became more of a event for just generally getting people in infosec in general and why people should want to get into infosec. And it was a hashtag include cybersecurity chat. Organized by a guy named Kane McGlattery. Jason contacted a bunch of other people he thought might be interested. I figured, I'd represent the Adrianarchy, so showed up.
Right.
He asked a couple of interesting questions. I suppose some people. Let me see what ones he had. Let's see. Question 1 was, what are some of the top benefits of career in cybersecurity?
Well, I mean, that question, like, what are the top benefits of cybersecurity? I mean,
working in cybersecurity.
Working in cybersecurity, I'd say just like the knowledge piece, like the interesting people that you meet, the knowledge that you'll gain, and of course, for some people, job security depends on what you work on. Because I mean, people do care about job security for some reason. I would say that's what makes it interesting, And every day is a different challenge, depending on what you're doing.
And I think I listed potential from working from home, but it has its own problems in job security being also interesting conferences. I get admit a lot of my social activity in person anymore is conferences.
Yeah. But again, you're the reason why a lot of people even know about a lot of these conferences. Which is a great thing. Hey guys, are we silent on the chat? I see a lot of mute buttons. What's up?
I'm eating cookies.
I'm eating a hot sandwich. It's way too hot, so I'm gonna get me some more drink because I just spilled this all down. You all continue for a second. I gotta get me some more beverage.
Good. You said eating cookies.
Eating cookies.
How'd your day go, man?
That was all right.
Oh, okay.
Settled in at the new job.
Oh, you got the new job? Sweet.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
When did you start?
Started on the 8th, so I've been there for, well, I was there for like 3 days or 4 days, whatever. Like maybe like yeah, like I guess what was 8th was a Monday. Yeah, so I was there for a week, and then freaking Sunday night after the first week, I came down with a flu and I was sick all week. So I've been there for 3 weeks, but I've only been at work for 2.
Oh wow, using that PTO early.
Well, I mean, I think by like Tuesday, like on Tuesday, they got me all set up on the VPN, and I was just, I mean, it was all training stuff, like read the document, freaking click the button. So I just kind of did that from the house in between naps, and they're cool with it. So I was like, all right, cool.
As long as you heard something in between the naps.
Yeah.
It counts as knowledge. That's cool stuff.
Sauce on that sandwich.
As time goes on and I quote unquote learn more stuff, I'm starting to quickly realize that I'm over prepared for the position. It's funny though, how much you learn in a kind of a an all-in-one role compared to what you learn when you're just doing like SOC stuff,
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like with anything else. When you're constantly learning,
Yeah, it's funny too. A lot of the guys talk about, oh, I got this book or I'm reading this thing, and I'm like, yeah, I've already read that like twice.
Yeah, but even if you go back and read it, it might be something you missed the first time.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I always go back. You forget stuff, overlook something, or didn't quite fully understand it first time around.
Man, there you go.
Speaking of going back and reading, I got to read the Art of Exploitation again.
Don't remind me.
It's like chewing on a cardboard box, ain't it?
Oh man. Now, what, you going for the OSCP or just learning exploit in general?
Just kind of learning the exploit in general. Just maybe eventually go for the OSCP, but I just want to learn it.
Nothing wrong with that. Some nice C and assembly, all mashed up into one.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty colors on the screen. It's a beautiful thing.
I'm kind of interested in reverse engineering stuff too. So
yeah, I would definitely check out Malware Unicorn, her class.
Mm-hmm.
Hit up her Twitter. I think it's still up there. I think she still has it, but she's very good with reverse engineering.
Yeah, one of my buddies was talking to me about her, saying you should take her class.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. There you go. I don't know if you're are you friends with her on Twitter or?
I think I follow her on Twitter. I don't know if we're quote unquote friends, but.
Excuse me, I got my socials mixed up. Yeah, is she following you? That's the key.
I doubt it. I'm not special.
No, she's Zoom chat with me.
What's that, Adrian?
I know she's in the human zoo chat with me.
She seems pretty cool though.
All right, guys, don't add hot sauce to a frying pan.
Why not?
It vaporizes. Goes into your sinuses. All right, I need more beverage. I can't even ask a question about. That's too hot. I'll read the next question. Keep going up in a second.
This guy said he sent me some stuff, but I didn't get it.
Oh, that's better. Oh, why did I close that tab? All right. The guy's next question to me and the group was, what are the top skills to have if you want to enter the cybersecurity field? I said being able to teach yourself fairly quickly, being able to Google foo pretty well. It's good to have a little programming and system administration knowledge in your belt.
Yeah, I think a big chunk of it is willing to teach and learn on, you know, kind of your own.
I agree with all of the above.
Well, anything you want to add besides that?
Of course. I'm sorry. Again, especially when like with like say, it's always good to have like knowledge from different areas. Like you said, with system administration, what system administration does, and this is in the form of like InfoSec. If you get into InfoSec and you have a system administration background, whether you're offensive or defensive, from a defensive perspective, you'll have an idea and an understanding how the operating system works and where the logs are stored and how to harden the operating system from a defensive standpoint. From an offensive standpoint, if you're attacking a system, it's very important to know how the system works, where the logs are stored for, you know, any type of like stealthy mission that I'm just using mission as
I mean, just knowing the net command in Windows is an amazing tool for, hey, I'm pwning you.
Yeah, and how you're right, and how to move files around, especially with Netcat.
Or understanding how the file system works, like the sticky keys workaround that's still there. You know, if you got physical access, bam, sticky keys, I'm in. You know.
Yeah, so it's always good to have a combination, and especially with programming. And no offense to anybody, but programmers make much better hackers. That's just the way it goes. Because with programming, you can do so much. You can do so much more. You know, it just gives you a one-up.
Yeah, even with something as simple as this. Pardon me. Scripting to automate shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gives you a leg up.
Oh, fixing something that sells as broken code when you find out they're using a different version of Python.
You should be doing that
that's
as an
always
admin.
fun.
Scripting to automate, but you know, not a lot of them do anymore.
No, because they got a button they can press.
Right.
Same thing with vulnerability assessments. They just scan. And that's another thing too. When like you said, having different backgrounds help, and of course when the ability to learn quick and have the motivation too. That motivation and drive is so important, because you can get into something and be like, oh man, I don't know about all this, but you just gotta have that motivation and drive. That's what separates you from the rest, because now that you have the motivation and drive, there's nothing you can't learn, there's nothing you can't do, there's nothing you can't accomplish. So that's what I say, having that drive and motivation is more important. That is the foundation for everything else that was just discussed in the answer to this question.
Yeah, you know, you see it a lot with like older family members and stuff. You know, you're trying to teach something on the computer, and they just obviously just want you to fix it and shut up. They don't really care why it works or how it works.
Sounds like a customer,
right? It's like, you know,
some hacks with Pancake kind of brought up, and some other people brought up about programming language and so forth. Now, she was talking about, and see, way back when I was in grade school, back in the 80s, they at least taught a little bit of like Basic A and Logo. And she was saying that they really don't do much of that at all anymore.
Wow.
Teaching any kind of scripting or programming.
What?
She was saying that, you know, in like, or I guess grade schools or whatever, maybe middle schools, there wasn't as much teaching of like the basics of the computer. There was like stuff like teaching, I don't know, Access and Office and stuff like that. At least someone else was saying that. Maybe that was Pancake.
Yeah. You know, like a lot of schools don't, like, especially like California wants to talk about being like this, you know, great progressive place, but freaking I went to, you know, 12 years of school there, and not once did they do much more than freaking, you know, how to make a Word document. You know, they didn't even have a damn computer class, you know, like none of that was even wasn't offered, was nothing, you know. Like
when I was in grade school, at least did something like Logo and like Basic A. How about you, Charles?
For me, it's kind of similar to the same thing. Like when I was in grade school, it was just more so. More so, it was just all about COBOL. Weird enough.
Oh, COBOL seems like something to be incredibly boring to a grade schooler.
Well, the school I went to, they did like more like the advanced, was like the advanced arts and stuff. It was more. They had like certain classes were like more advanced, like certain programs. So that's where the kids got into like earlier for like grade school. Like no, I'm sorry, not COBOL. I got COBOL on my mind. Basic, like Dear Basic.
Okay. Because basic, you make little choose your own adventure games pretty easy, and
yes.
Little graphic games that draw things on the screen.
Yeah, for grade school it was basic. High school was COBOL. High school was about COBOL. For grade school, yeah, basic. So I mean, and they don't teach that stuff anymore. Well, you know.
Yeah, I think they should move on maybe to some things like Arduino, like the microcontrollers, just because.
Yeah, and Raspberry Pis.
They're very hands-on. They're very tactile in a way. It's something. Watching servos move is a little bit cooler than just drawing something on the screen with a cursor.
Right, and making lights blink on and off.
Yeah, little LEDs and such.
Mm-hmm. And building something with their imagination. On top of that, so
and a lot of the Arduino stuff has gotten fairly inexpensive.
Oh yeah. Or even like the Raspberry Pi Zeros, they're like $5.
Yep. Yeah, I did get me one of those Raspberry Pi Zero Ws.
Yeah.
Try to do something.
Yeah. And I'll get into my little adventure soon, but because I have the Raspberry Pi Zero with W's. We'll get into that later in the show notes.
All right, let me find the next question he asked.
Mm-hmm.
Was it someone in particular who inspired you to get into technology? Was it a famous person, a teacher, a friend, family member? I used to read some hacker books in the 90s on like Karen Mitnick and such, but that's not one person inspired me. I guess my first introduction to doing a lot of computer work was my buddy Jeff Hamby, who went on to be a programmer. But I can't really think of any other individual so much. How about you guys?
For me, it was just more so. I never forget this guy in New York. His name was Luis, and Luis was a freaker.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, he was a freaker, and I just thought it was cool that how he was able to do stuff with the different phones. Yeah, and on top of that, he used to keep the phones on for the local rap artists. Like they used to come to him to keep their phones on.
Nice.
So yeah, he was pretty.
Payment, they keep the phones on.
He did something to the phone. I guess he had the dial codes or whatever. He used to reprogram the Motorola's, the Motorola StarTACs back in the day. But that's what kind of like inspired me, not to even just do freaking, but just to go off on my own and kind of like learn about the different cultures. And of course, that's what got me into hacking. And then it's funny because in the beginning, I didn't know how to hack anything. But what I did know, I started off, like I said, with good. The book, I think, was like $20 at the time. It was called Networking Complete. That was the first book I ever read on networking, and learned how networking functions, and then of course equate that to hacking. So it's kind of like anytime I learned a new subject, I always on the flip side try to see if I can like hack using that particular network, or if it was just software in general. That's how my roots began.
Yeah, mine started with my my uncle, kind of. He basically, like, when I was like 10 or 12, maybe I might have been like 8, I don't know. Yeah, I like forced my mom and dad to buy a computer. Like she's like, buy a damn computer. It's where the world's going, basically. Like he knew what was going on at the time. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know anything. And then he brought over Command and Conquer, and gave me Command and Conquer, and that's what like got me into computer games and shit. And then it was like anytime something broke, he would never fix it for me. He was always figure it out. He would just stand there, and if I got too close to fucking something up, he'd stop me, and that was it. You know, like don't do that. And he'd be back to, all right, now what do I do? But yeah, it wasn't until like Red Alert and dial up. I called my cousin, and we had played a game over dial up. I was like, oh my god, that's like the coolest shit ever. Like I've got to figure out how this works one day. And it took me a long time to actually get around to that task in my mental notes there, but eventually one day it had nothing better to do and landed a job as a computer operator. So
beats digging ditches.
Yeah, it beats being a freaking EMT too, because they don't pay shit.
All right, next question in line, and then we're going to move on to Charles stuff. What are your predictions for the future of cybersecurity globally? And I didn't have anything really good for this, other than I'm saying as more money and less accountability for what actually counts as skills comes in, we'll probably see more charlatans in. And then I said some stuff about machine learning, though most of that stuff's snake oil as of right now. What do y'all think is the future of cybersecurity globally? Kind of a hard question to answer, I think. But
well, I do think the future with IT is definitely artificial intelligence. It's going to be pretty big. Definitely wireless, because I mean wireless is not going anywhere. So there's always going to be a need to. Yeah, it's going to get stronger, but there's still going to be a need to secure it, because as time goes on and people figure out ways to bypass different things in wireless access points and radio waves, I think that's going to be the future. Definitely, although, yeah, they got this machine learning or whatnot, programming is an art, and I think it will always be needed. There would just be different ways of programming, maybe code that writes code and does other different things, but there'll always be something to fix. So I think like future-wise, you definitely see a lot of that, because now, and I hate to say this, with these sex robots, somebody's got to program them.
Right.
I mean, I think those are the three cores for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll probably automate some jobs out, but there's still a lot of stuff that, I mean, machine learning, someone has to teach the machine. Like the machine's not, and until we actually somehow figure out freaking AI, to its legit intelligence, someone's got to teach it. You know what I mean?
Well, but the idea of machine learning, though, is you give it data sets and it can automatically process the data set to the input to the output.
But somebody's still got to go, yes, that was right. No, that was wrong, because
well, yeah, that's what you code in the data set, but yes.
It's never even machine learning, especially machine learning today, is not to the point where it's right even 99% of the time. You know what I mean?
It depends on what your target domain is.
Well, stuff for stuff like InfoSec related, like, is this an attack, or is this malware, or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, a while off before we can actually start reading logs for us and tell us, oh yeah, this guy's attacking you, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, someone's still got to teach it for a while.
Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot to add to the show notes, so that was the only thing I really put in. We got a ShmooCon wrap up, but Charles, I think, is the only one of our guys who is currently on the cast who got to ShmooCon this year.
Woohoo! Well, just to give you a little backstory, originally I wasn't even going to attend ShmooCon at all. What but I'm gonna get real stupid here. What had happened was,
what happened was,
yeah. What occurred was, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to ShmooCon, but I'm just gonna hang out in the lobby, meet up with a couple of friends that I know that are in the industry or whatnot, and just hang out with them. So once I get there, I parked, and this other guy was coming in here too. He was teasing me. He said, "Hey, where's your kilt?" And I said, "I don't wear a kilt." He started laughing because he had his kilt on, and he told me the story about how his son was embarrassed for him to come to school because he had the kilt on. He's like, "Dad, you're embarrassing me. Please put some pants on." So, yeah. So, anyway, we're walking into the venue. So I'm just walking around to see who I know. I ran into a couple of people from Nova Hackers that I knew. And then I got in the elevator because I was going to go up to the T floor, go up to another level, the T level. So this guy gets in, he walks in, and he's like, "Hey, we're just having a regular conversation." He's like, "Hey, so when did you get in?" I said, "Well, I just got here today. I didn't get a ticket for ShmooCon. They were all sold out. So I wound up, I was just gonna hang out in the lobby and cool out." He said, "Do you want a ticket?" And I was like, "Well, I don't have $150 cash on me. I don't even carry cash on me." He said, No. Do you want a ticket?" I was like, "Yeah, I want a ticket." He said, "Well, here you go." And he gave me the ticket. And and I was like, "Well, wait a minute." And then I said, "Thank you," but and the door closed. Like, he just walked away.
Okay.
So I thought that was interesting. I mean, I've never seen that before.
Those goddamn racist InfoSec guys.
Shut up.
So would they actually have a ticket? Or was it like a badge?
It was a badge, but counted as a ticket. When you register with your ticket, you get the badge.
You registered so forth and got the badge.
Yeah, he had already gotten the badge and everything. He just gave me his badge.
Cool. A lot of people get them through work or get several of them at a time, and
yeah,
maybe you're going to be there part of a day.
Yeah, that's true too. So I was like, okay. So I get in, and then I just start. I don't know if you guys know InfoSec Janitor.
Yeah, I know him.
Oh yeah, real cool dude. So we were just having a conversation about like the stuff that you find on the internet, man. It's just insane. Like, as far as like finding Google Drives and really using OSNIT to its max. So we were having that huge conversation, and I learned some new stuff just by having that conversation, and then went home and just went crazy. But I got a lot of that conversation. Then of course I ran into Zero Chaos, and confirmed again that there's no way to really right now. Nobody's really found a way to inject any type of inject any type of traffic into a 802.11ac network. Still no way right now. So
I'd like to sit down with him and Melanick sometime and actually Melandick. I'm trying to think of Mick Melandick. I think the guy's of. Oh, great.
At the Wireless Village. Melandick.
Yeah, I need to sit down with them. They didn't do another training session. There was a talk they gave on wireless penetration testing was really great, but my equipment was getting bricks at the time, and I didn't get it all captured.
Well, whatever you did, man, that's what got me. Perfect story. I watched their B-Sides Delaware off of your website.
Irongeek. Yeah, I think I lost some of the video, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure it's out there somewhere.
Okay.
And I actually watched that video over and over again. That's how I figured out to buy the alpha card and the TP links, and how many to get. And then when you're going on an engagement, make sure you have the get out of jail free card. Like, it was a very interesting talk. And this was back in 2013. Mind you, I hadn't met Zero Chaos or anybody yet. And actually, Zero Chaos got me a ticket for ShmooCon. Of course, I just paid him when I got there. He said, just make sure you have the money and a place to stay. That's it. Mind you, he's never met me, but since on IRC.
Yeah, this is the second year in a row I've missed.
So, but again,
my company retreat was the same time as this one, so I couldn't have gone anyway. But
oh, that's right, because I saw the pics on Twitter. With your company, what is it? The company party?
Yep, company party and a little bit of training, and we got 40 people now.
Wow. Okay.
I think only like 38 of them were there, but so it's a pretty crowded house. If everybody actually worked from the offices, we definitely need to have bigger offices.
But seriously, man, you guys, looking at the company, you guys are doing it the right way, man. Like it seems like everybody just like works together as a team.
I think part of that's the way they handpick their employees.
Yeah. And it should be.
Yeah, well, you can do that up to a certain size. You start getting to like 100 people, and it would be really hard for everybody to know everybody.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 100 people in InfoSec, right?
Yeah, but I get to know 100 people that well to know exactly what they're doing. Like sometimes they ask me, "What do you think of this person?" I'm like, "Well, they're a nice enough fellow," but I really don't know what they do from a day-to-day basis.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, because
more of an acquaintance and not like a friend or someone you keep up with, a lot.
Right. I don't necessarily always know what the day job is because we're hanging out at a conference, watching talks, or
just having fun. Yeah.
Or drinking in the lobby. Which I've gone about 3.5 weeks without drinking anything.
There you go. That's good.
I'm not less slurring on this particular podcast than some of the ones from like a month ago. My plan is not to give it up entirely. Maybe drink at cons and drink more at social situations, but less of a nightcap to go to sleep kind of thing. Because sleeping, because you took a shot of whiskey, it's not, or in my case, a couple shots, just is not good sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any particular talk that stand out from ShmooCon? Or do you do mostly LobbyCon, hang out and talk?
I just mostly talk to people because I look at the tracks and no disrespect to anybody in ShmooCon, I didn't find any talks that were interesting. I mean, you ever feel that way? Like some talks that it's like when some conferences you go to, you just don't find some of the talks interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually less technical ones, like some of the ISSA events.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was just that. I don't know. It's just I didn't have that feeling, and usually it was weird this year because I didn't have that feeling. Like, okay, perfect example. When I come to DerbyCon, right? When I come to DerbyCon, I'm like head over heels excited, and I look at the schedule and I always find more than enough talks to go around that I'm truly interested in. Looking at the schedule, or if I go to any other con, I've done that.
Yeah, we also have like 5 tracks going, and we pretty much gear everything towards technical almost.
Right, and I think this one, I don't know. Maybe I didn't notice it in the past because in the past I've just done the wireless CTF and the Ghost in the Shell recon. So, and of course, they have Hack Fortress if you're deep in the Hack Fortress. But I mean, I don't know, just like the talks were different. Because one year, when they had, I think it was 2013 when they had a Bruce Snyder.
Uh-huh.
And they had Josh Thomas. That was one of the best ShmooCons I've been to. Mm. And Josh Thomas did the talk on how to train your Snapdragon, and that was one of the best talks I've seen. Those talks like that, and then of course I was just happy to meet Bruce Schneider. He's a really cool individual, unique individual, but he was real cool, and that was my first time ever meeting him in life. So of course, besides seeing him on the blogs and stuff like that. But
looks like Live Beef also joined, and I think he got. Did you meet up with Live Beef while you were there?
I missed him. I missed him live.
Hey,
bro. Hey, sorry I missed you at Shmoo, man. I didn't show up till Saturday. I was gonna show up on Friday, but things came up with my daughter and stuff, so I had to kind of just cool out. And then Saturday I was kind of like on limited time. So when I got there at 12 something, and I saw your IM, because it was sparse. So you said he was gonna be there around like 2:30 or whatnot. I was there.
Yep.
But I didn't wind up leaving until like 3. But it's just like with the I didn't even do the party. I just did just like chatted with everybody, hung out. I tried to find a talk that I really wanted to go to, but it was, I don't know, my mind just wasn't there. It just wasn't.
Did you get a badge?
Yeah, I got a badge, luckily.
Awesome.
Luckily this guy that I met in the elevator just gave me his badge.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So
what were the badges this year?
The little Shrew rocket. It was a rocket. It was a hackable badge.
Okay.
Yeah, a little rocket, and it was pretty cool.
People are doing some war driving with it.
Yeah, because if it could pick up your SSID, or I think that's how it works. If you pick up another person's SSID, you got some points. And I may be actually connected too. Sorry.
I spent most of my time in the Wireless Village on Saturday, so kind of wish I'd spent more time over in the working the badge challenge, but still had a good time.
Okay. How was the Wireless Village? I mean, what were you working on?
I'm mainly getting some of my SDR equipment working, but the good chunk of the time was in the shot collar challenge, which is essentially one of the people running the village has a shot collar, the kind you normally put on dogs. He has a controller that does one of 3 things, 3 different buttons. One of them has a controller make a beep, as in like the warning signal, dogs here, as in you're approaching the electric fence, don't go further. Another signal turns visible light on the collar. And the third signal turns on the shock. So what he did was he played, I think around 6 or 8. He asked us to record around 6 or 8 different instances of him broadcasting a signal. And then someone had to wear a shock collar on their thigh, not on their neck. And then play the signals. We'll see who was able to get the shock one first. And we had several rounds of this, and the team that was able to shock whoever's wearing the shock collar the most times won.
Wow. Okay.
It was interesting. It was fun. It's apparently a challenge that happens every year.
Right. But that's like I was telling everybody on the thread, like, I don't know, it was just yep, I just had that vibe where it wasn't really any talks I wanted to go to.
I don't really see, well, aside from the Fire Talks or Sky Talks type stuff, don't really see talks anymore as the primary reason to go to conventions, unless you want to ask questions or talk to the person after the talk to the person who did this speech. I mean, a lot of the stuff ends up going on, Adrian's site or YouTube. And so I'm thinking, focusing on the transient experiences, or the temporary experiences, the stuff you can get at the villages, or some of the bad challenge. I find, or just talking with people there. I find that is a more useful. It's just much more useful expenditure of time there, and it's much more fun to get more out of it because the talks you find interesting, I can look after the fact on YouTube, and it's YouTube or Adrian's site, and just get excellent information.
Right. That's true too. I mean, because I got a lot more information just talking to everybody. I ran into Zero Chaos, of course. Zero, man, that's my guy. I like Zero. Zero is hilarious. And Red Baron.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, Red Baron's awesome, man.
I did see after the quote unquote villages closed, and people went their own separate ways. On Friday night, people, the hotel touch displays, people were messing around with those. Turns out those displays run on Windows XP and or internet connected. So some people decided to have fun, get the displays to there was a discussion. Some people wanted to go to see that info. Others wanted to go to Tub Girl, but cooler minds prevailed and went to neon.cat instead.
Oh.
What was that?
I'd say one man, one jar?
I do not recall anyone mentioning that one specifically. There was Two Girls, One Cup, that classic. But not one man, one jar, unfortunately. And I have a sinking feeling I'm going to find out more about what that is soon enough.
I can't exactly see that from the stream because that would definitely get my YouTube channel flagged.
No.
Yeah. Not on the stream. So yeah, it was fun. People brought Neon Cat, and after that, someone installed TeamViewer, and then remoted into it with his BlackBerry. Since the only people I've ever seen with BlackBerries these days, like government employees, I'm just going to go ahead and assume it was someone doing I'm going to go ahead and assume it was a Fed, because he was also the same guy who got Neon Cat up there in the first place. He wanted the people around. He had the TeamViewer login page. It had the quote unquote username and password. He was asking people to take a picture of it, post it to Twitter, so to have random people on the internet go in remote and take remote control over it. With the understanding that they also knew how to reset the system from there. So in the worst case, unplug and replug. I opted against doing that as I have people following me. I'm not sure. I don't know if they would like it or really, really hate it. And
right.
Yeah. And so no matter how much, part of me would really love to have seen that happen, it's like I'll control myself. Other than that, after he found out there was kind of a lack of interest, lack of people actually tweeting out the username and password, the TeamViewer username and password, he ended up pulling up MS Paint, and people just started drawing stuff.
Interesting.
Let's see. Originally, people were drawing things you would expect them to draw. Dicks, dick butt, more dicks. I'm not kidding here. And then someone drew Trevor. He was actually a pretty good artist. And he drew the hashtag Trevor Forget. And then afterwards, someone figured probably should restart the whole thing, see if we can restore it back to normal. Restarted it, found out that Flash was out of date. And they thought, okay, let's go ahead and update Flash. Help them out.
Yeah.
Turns out the thing is so poorly powered that so poorly powered that after about 10 minutes, they found out that its attempt to update Flash was completely crippling it made the display application hang, as all the resources were spent trying to bring up Internet Explorer and the Flash page. The Flash download this to update.
Interesting.
And also, someone brought up the command prompt and did a net view. There were a number of hosts that the display was showing.
Right.
One of them had the word embassy in the title. Everything else had like a garbled series of letters and numbers, but one of them, alongside the garbled series of letters and numbers, had the word embassy. I figure it's probably like Embassy Suites Hotel. The most logical thing to me is that these screens are probably sold by the vendor, and it probably has a network managed by the same vendor. It probably goes through multiple hotels in the area.
Okay.
At least I'm hoping that's what it was.
Gotcha.
So the day after, on Saturday, we found that the downstairs screens, the ones people kept drawing dicks on, before the crowds were covering it, but the cameras did catch the dicks. Those had been shut off. The upstairs one, however, was still on, as I believe the only thing people did with that one was bring up MS Paint and draw Trevor.
Security. Whoever thought the vote should get this much love.
Oh, yes. Security did come by at one point. Some of them were laughing. And essentially, their main thing was, as long as we could unhack it, then they were fine.
Okay. That's the cool part. That was pretty cool.
Yep. I know one of the security people was laughing his ass off when he saw the dick. He was just laughing and laughing.
Oh, hell.
Oh, my goodness.
I think I may have told the story on air already, but that reminds me of my last experience at like DerbyCon 4. I think the previous years I had not realized that there was actually a party that happened afterwards. I thought everybody went home after the closing ceremonies because no one was around. No, everybody just went out to get a beer or something and eat dinner. Then like 100 or so people came back and just partied around the hotel lobby. Well, my last memory of that was somebody had left a backpack behind. And so the people of DerbyCon were going to send them back to him. But they first visited the sex shop about a block down the street, bought various gay pornography to fill the bag with, and the biggest blackest dildo on a suction cup I've ever seen. And
did they know the guy who actually owned the backpack, or was it just like a random stranger?
Oh, I was there. Adrian, I was there.
I remember it then. Okay. They started taking pictures down the lobby of the stuff they were putting in the backpack.
Talking about the government guy that left his backpack at DerbyCon?
I'm not sure if it was a government guy or not.
It was a contractor there, something like it, right?
It was a contractor from Northrop Grumman who left his backpack.
Yeah. Anyway, my last memory was being the only organizer left there, seeing this black dildo in a suction cup riding up the escalator handrail while security guards coming down the other escalator, and I'm like, okay, I'm walk around to the elevators and just go up to my room again. All right, I'm done for the evening.
Yep, hilarious. Like, that was hilarious because somebody collected $20 from each of us to go get all the dildos and stuff. But yeah, you don't leave your backpack like that. That's just out of control. I think they sent that back to him though, with all that stuff in it.
Got it back, and with all the stuff in it, plus a few extra things.
A lot of extra.
Yeah. He posts Twitter or something like that he left his bag or some crap.
I think so.
Yeah, that's how they figured out where to send it. It's terrible. Terrible.
Oh, you gotta love it.
Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, so that's cool stuff. And speaking of hacking, we'll segue over to the Raspberry Pis. Woohoo! As of late, I've been doing a lot of stuff, just messing around with the Raspberry Pis again. I got that that itch again. So last time I built my tablet with the Raspberry Pi 3, and I got everything working and the touchscreen working along with my Bluetooth keyboard finally working. The next steps for me is I'm trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the Raspberry Pi Zero with Wi-Fi. I know one I'm going to just make into a game console, a really tiny game console, and see what happens. Meaning, so pretty much make it like a cheap knockoff of the Switch, but it'll have RetroPie running. So just trying to keep it, pretty adventurous. The Raspberry Pi, bless you. Raspberry Pi Zeros, they have 512 megs of RAM, so I got to see how well the games would run on it if I do go that route. I think these little devices would make great for like, especially on pen testing engagements, because they literally look like just they're even smaller than the Raspberry Pi Zeros. They literally fit in a tiny Ziploc, like a little Ziploc bag.
Which ones you talking about?
The Raspberry Pi Zeros with wireless.
You said something was smaller than the wireless, the Raspberry Pi Zeros.
No, smaller than the Raspberry Pi 3. The Raspberry Pi Zero, a lot smaller than it.
That's like a quarter size, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And in order to connect to the TV, if you want to connect it to a TV, make sure you get a mini HDMI to HDMI cable.
Is it mini or micro HDMI?
It says it's a mini. A micro, I'm sorry. It's a micro HDMI.
Yeah, I think mini is what I got out of my Vixia cameras, but there's something even smaller than that.
No, it is a mini because I think there's
a mini. Okay.
A micro. There's a micro, and I think micro's even smaller.
Yeah, so it's a mini HDMI cable to HDMI. So you'll need that if you want to connect the Pi Zero to a television.
It's not exactly high powered though.
No,
if it's something that you can put next to a TV, then get something like a little bit beefier.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's something like quick, like say if I'm like always, to make it cool, like I'm always on the road. Like say if I'm always like on travel, I'm always flying, and I want to play like a little quick game or whatever. Then you can probably do it on your phone, but just a little cheap knockoff project.
Take out your laptop, hook up your.
Hook up your Pi. Or if you're just into like video games, you could just say, "Hey, like I said, you don't want to spend all that money on the Switch. You just build your own handheld.
You want to do some war walking? Yeah, just walk around with it.
That too, and create and get you like a 3D printer and create like the Double Mint logo with the green, like it'll be like a pack of gum sitting in your pocket, but it's actually war driving.
And it's for host app D, doesn't it? You can make it into an access point, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably make it spam out a bunch of Unicode SIDs that are funny.
Oh man, that would be cool. Emoji, different emojis as access points.
Yeah, you have to have something like OS 10 or Windows 8.4 will actually represent Unicode characters in an SSID. You go back to 7 though, it just comes out as there's a term for it, emoji break. Basically misinterpreted Unicode because it tries to interpret it all as ANSI ASCII.
Question mark square.
Stuff like that. Not even that sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention. Did you already talk about Whiskey Leaks?
Whiskey Leaks. I haven't heard of that one.
No, I don't think we talk about whiskeys at all.
So Friday night of ShmooCon, with a pretty big party called Whiskey Leaks. I'm told they got so massive, people the room had to be shut up. The room had to be emptied out. I don't know if the fire marshal was called or not, but it got that bad.
What was it?
And I'm told there were so many gallons of freaking whiskey. Unfortunately, I did not go there. It was at the same time I was looking at the people were messing around with the hotel screen monitors. So I only heard about it after the monitor thing.
Yeah, someone has a booze hackers thing on Facebook. I don't know. I don't know if it's invite only or whatever, but I'll add you if you find it. I think I can do that. Just took some sleeping medication so I can try to get myself back on a normal schedule.
Good on you.
I hear that. I hear that. None of us are ever normal or on a normal schedule.
Good Lord, no.
I
said a good Lord, not.
Yeah, I know.
Other thing I like to do with some Raspberry Pi Zeros, I could probably use more than one at a time so I can use the radios for different frequencies at the same time. Do something to
yeah.
I don't know, maybe some kind of collection thing to monitor different channels. Does the Raspberry Pi W, Raspberry Pi Zero W, does it do 5 gigahertz or is it only 2.4?
I think it's 5 gigahertz. If I remember correctly, I think it's do a quick search. I think it's 5 gigahertz. Only thing that does suck, and I can't wait for the newer version to come out, is that it has 512 megs of RAM. That's the only thing.
And a few years, it's going to be even beefier. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Isn't Intel like how long until Intel goes down? I think like 7 nanometer fabrication.
Around
7
that.
nanometer die. Or on what now?
Windows thing.
They're starting to fabricate that now.
I'm assuming so.
Well, wouldn't Intel have new processors out where you could actually get them in laptops? Because I want to refurbish my laptops for capture this year.
Yeah, that's I didn't. I have no idea other than soon-ish when they're moving to 7 nanometer fabrication. I just knew that that's the smallest that they announced publicly that they were going to, as it's the breaking point where it's still economical, where they can still make a profit off of it. Then they said they're going to move to a different fabrication technique afterwards. But considering how much technology evolves, who knows? Maybe they'll find a way to make 5 or 4 nanometer die work out by the time they finish fabricating 7 nanometer. Probably not, though.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of a testament to some of the news sources I read, but after I've heard about what's it called? Actually, I'll skip on that. I don't want to misquote. I'll come back to me later.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I mean but like with the Raspberry Pi 2, Raspberry 2, with the Pi Zero, definitely looking forward to making a cheap knockoff of the Nintendo Switch. But only difference is I won't have the controllers on the side. That I won't be having that. But anything else, I'm gonna see what I can actually just come up with and just have some fun with it.
Any specific applications in mind? About not as programs, but uses.
Well, like I said, one's the game controller, but for the other one, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it yet, but it'll come to mind as you know how like when you're working on something, it just comes to mind. You're like, oh, maybe I can do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's pretty much where I'm at with everything right now. So we'll see, how everything goes.
Separately, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was about to say something, Adrian. So, Adrian.
Yes.
So, okay, so you're hitting. You said you're hitting the gym more, right, and everything else.
No, it's not. I've been sleeping more, unfortunately. I need to hit the gym, but dude, it's at the end of the day, it's hard to feel motivated to, and I want to. Let's put it that way.
You know what we should do? And we can challenge other people to join in because I need to do the same shit. So I'm in the same boat. Let's do a hack the body challenge.
Okay, what all would this entail?
Well, I mean, just like it just tells you like your personal goals. Like I know for a fact I do need to get in the gym and I need to drop some pounds anyway. So I mean, it's all your personal goals. It's nobody else's personal goal, but you can just
excuse. You just had a baby.
Yeah.
That's the way that works, right? Husbands gain weight too.
Jesus, yes.
That does happen.
Yeah.
Actually, I imagine it does because if you're taking care of a baby, changing diapers, sitting up with them and so forth, you probably do get awfully tired and you probably don't work out at the gym as much.
No. Because you'd be so tired, you'd be like, oh my God, I just want to just get that 1 ounce of sleep. I just need, if I could just bat my eye, just let me taste it. That's how you feel, So yeah, so that's what I said. Because and it's crazy because while and this was over the weekend, I was like, man, I got fat. So now, you have those moments you like you eating something, right? You be like, damn, I know damn well I'm not supposed to be eating this, but it's so good. And then you look around and you're like, damn, I'm fat. I can't do what I need. I said, no, I got to change this. And that's what made me think about it. I said, well, equate it to hacking. We call it the hack the body challenge for all to join. And it just triggered it when you were talking about it earlier, like you're saying, trying to get some more sleep and everything else. So it could be just a personal goal. It don't even have to be, it don't even have to be working out. It could be, like you said, maybe, some people need more sleep, some people need less sleep, or just anything that's appealing to you that you want to change. That's what's a hack the body. So if it's something about yourself that you want to change, and it could be, like it could be physically changed or whatever, or not, or physically, mentally, it doesn't matter. That's why I challenged the hack the body challenge. Any thoughts?
It sounds. I think it's good. I'm just trying to think how to make this as hackery themed as possible without just being like a rebranding of an exercise video.
Oh no! It don't even, and that's the thing. It doesn't have to be exercise. It could be mental, because I mean, your mentals affect your body too.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I said with hack the body, it could be something. It could be one small thing. It could be stop eating chocolate, or something like that. Like something that you just want, and not this Lent. And I'm not knocking anybody that's into Lent. That hey, congratulations.
I gave it my Catholicism for Lent.
for
I find
you know.
I find the biggest, at least short-term diet benefit is just cutting out salt.
Okay.
Just don't get pre-processed meats. Instead, just cook raw chicken, cook raw turkey. So rather than going with that pre-prepared Italian bratwurst you put in the skillet, just make meat or turkey patties. As you look at the bratwurst, it's like, here's 2,400 milligrams of sodium if you eat all 4 bratwurst, or if you have an equivalent amount of meat from like a just regular turkey or chicken, you get less than 50 milligrams of sodium. After like 2 weeks, it feels a lot more relaxed, and it still tastes great.
I think why ruin it with like a lot of raw meats, meats, unprocessed. So is the stuff I add on afterwards. Not so much the hot sauce, because most hot sauce is on a lot of calories, but barbecue sauce is a lot of sugar.
Oh man, that barbecue.
Yeah, but it doesn't come anywhere close to what the pre-prepared stuff does.
Okay.
It's still better if you put in barbecue sauce. It's almost always better just preparing it yourself.
Especially that's like I got a bad taste of a Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Oh, there's something about that barbecue sauce. Ooh, that's the Krispy Kreme of barbecue sauce. The Sweet Baby Ray's. Ooh.
I have to admit, the other day I got yum yum sauce, and that's probably was a very bad thing to do, though. That's not healthy.
What's yum yum sauce?
It's I've typically had it at Japanese restaurants where you could food in front of you. It tastes really good with chicken and seafood.
Yeah, like hibachi.
Kind of like sweet tangy, sweet tangy and creamy.
Oh wow! Hey, anything beats those Tide Pods.
There's cooking recipes out there right now to how to make something that looks just like an actual Tide Pod, but isn't a Tide Pod, and just show people that you're eating it.
So show people how you're gonna die early. Okay.
Well, it's just cake. But I wonder, like, what's the before and after for the stats for fucking Tide Pod thing? Like, before MSNBC told all the attention seekers in the world, hey, here's how adults will give you attention. Here's how you can make them angry. Eat a Tide Pod. Like, what the fuck's the before and after? Because I think it's just people joking about it before. Afterwards, I see, clips of people with a very scrunched up face of chewing into a Tide Pod, and it's so fucking stupid. Holy shit.
It is. You just nailed it. It's very, very stupid.
But I still can't help but laugh every time I look at my Twitter feed and see an advertisement from Tide begging people not to eat a Tide Pod.
I mean,
no matter how serious a topic this is, it's just fucking hilarious.
It's probably not good for you, but the people talking about, hospitalization and shit like that, I'd have to imagine I imagine it's maybe slightly toxic, but it's fucking soap. I mean,
from what I'm hearing, it burns your insides. The chemical reaction does the equivalent of burning your inside. So it's you're in for a very unpleasant time if you eat one.
Okay, I don't really intend to, but though it does look a little bit like some kind of gummy candy.
Agreed. My God. Oh my gosh. Back in my day, the suicide memes were Bleach themed. All the kids these days that are fucking Tide Pods. Sorry, go ahead.
Wow. Well, you know something? Just breaking news. That doctor, Larry Nassar, he got the 175 in prison.
I don't understand that. Like
Just say life and call it a day.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, why do we got it? And someone's like, oh, because, you know, that way there's no chance of parole. Why don't you just say freaking parole? Like, like, why do we have to say 175 years? Like, nobody's gonna live that fucking long.
I guess like a ranking of how evil you are.
I guess I don't know.
Well, it's like you hear in the news, someone got like 80 years in prison, and that's pretty much a life sentence. Or someone got like 758 years for these mass murdering spree in prison. It's like, yeah, they're both going to rot in jail if they don't get murdered by an inmate, but the number of years still tells you how severe it is without even hearing of the crimes themselves. At least that's the way I see it.
All right, why the fuck is it not working? Sorry.
Oh, something I came to a realization about earlier today. I looked at the age of Danny Glover.
Oh, that's why I was laughing. I just saw your thing.
I just realized I'm around the same age as Danny Glover was when he started saying, "I'm getting too old for this shit." I thought Danny Glover was even older than that because he seemed awfully old. Again, I was like a teenager when those films came out. He seemed awfully old. You know, he seemed like close to retirement age. But no, he was only in his like early 40s at the time.
Jesus, I thought he was in his 50s.
But by now, surely he's in his 60s or 70s. But at the time, no, he was apparently born in 46, and that movie came out in 1987, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon, yeah.
There's a TV show now based on Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, it's not the same. They need to leave this stuff alone.
Yeah.
It's there are people in their 40s that look like they're in their 70s, and there's people in their 60s that look like they're in their 30s. Yeah, the huge number of factors contribute to how old you look. Just like
Hollywood, especially. Now, you said I really like Danny Glover in. This is an underrated movie, Predator 2. Predator 2 is actually way better than I think people give it credit for.
I haven't seen Predator or Predator 2 in forever.
I saw Predator 2 with my dad when it came out in theaters way back when. I think that came out in like 1990 or something. Remember seeing it and like a double feature of it and Quigley Down Under. Odd combination, I know. I noticed we were joined by someone else on the cast. Let's see if they want to say anything. Caprico.
Hi, I didn't know if I could speak or not.
Oh, go for it, man.
Okay, cool. No, I was just checking it out. I saw your Twitter post, and I was like, "Oh, Adrian's talking." I like Adrian, or just from your talks at DEF CON and stuff.
Yeah, I need to come up with some new material so I have more talks to give because I just don't have anything particularly to speak about right now. Nothing new.
Actually, funny enough, I was I go to college at Mankato State University, and one of the classes they were talking about a topic you covered with Dread Pirate Roberts back. I want to say that talk was like 3 or 4 years ago. I don't remember which DEF CON it was, but you were talking about how they were able to track him through correlation attacks with the Tor network.
Oh yeah.
And one of my classmates was in that class. I had already taken it. So, and I had found your talk afterwards, so I just showed it to her, and I'm about ready to show it to the professor to get your stuff into the class, I guess. I don't know.
Thanks.
But it's not a super technical class. There's it's an IT class, but it's more of like a business IT centered class. I don't know.
Yeah, I know some people put the information security programs underneath the comp sci program, and some put it in underneath business.
Yeah, what's interesting about this about my college specifically is we don't really have an infosec like all-encompassing like major or like even a specific focus. We just have like a couple classes, and then the rest of it is kind of just like just know your basic networking. You can do some advanced networking, but otherwise it's pretty much just you do one class of just basic policies in information security, and then the next class following in the same track gets you to be using stuff like Metasploit and getting in more into Kali Linux a little bit more. Which, funny enough, I ended up writing the midterm and the final for the practical side of things. That was fun.
Yeah, kind of all college to a degree. Though I think the last of it for me would be back in 2013 when I finished my.
Are you dying because I wasn't paying attention to you?
Okay, Jack joined.
Yep.
Is that Jack in the red background? Okay, Jack. We already saw you. Too late.
It looks pretty much like his avatar.
I know. Jack look like he's ready for a night on the town, man. Where's the Velvet Rose?
His avatar looks like he's about to drop the next mixtape.
Yes, that's right. My mixtapes are fire.
Now the avatar looks like he's surfing on the board. Silver, that is. What's going on, Jack? Talk to us.
I don't know. Just thought I'd pop in here. So, what has the topics been for tonight?
We talked about the ShmooCon wrap up. I talked a little bit about the my Raspberry Pi adventures. Also talked about Hack the Body challenge. Dropping a few pounds off my fat ass because I've had a baby. Well, I didn't have a baby. My wife had a baby. Yeah, that includes pretty much.
Wow.
So yeah. So and hack the body could be anything. You don't have to be physically, it could be mentally as well. Change something about yourself that you might want to change mentally or physically or both. You know?
But I'm an asshole, so I don't think I want to change anything.
Oh well, excuse me. You have won the challenge, sir. Woohoo! It's always something that can be changed. Even assholes have a conscience.
Doesn't even have to be something that you can change. It could be something that you can just keep improving on if you like something.
Even better. Improve on.
Yeah, you know? like say last year you started going to the gym like once a week, make it like twice a week. Yeah.
In increments.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go to the gym enough.
Well, not all of us have done that, sir.
I just don't want to be the creepy old guy at the gym. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, hey man, you look like you about to take over Vegas with that suit, brother.
It's not a suit.
Huh?
It
looked like it was just it looked like it was just a quick glance.
Get back. No.
Whatever it is, man, you did it up right, brother.
Oh no, it was sick.
Hey, you didn't come out. You didn't come out of ShmooCon, did you?
No.
Nice background music.
So I got a tower defense game playing in the background. Somehow, for reason I find tower defense games kind of addictive.
What are you on? PC, Xbox?
No, this is just actually just a little flash game.
Okay.
Something called Zombie Tower Defense Reborn.
Those are a dying breed of games.
At least
a few years back, I used to play something called Desktop Tower Defense, which was really addictive. I still have a version of it out there on Facebook that no longer works because people haven't updated the servers it was running on. It was like, I guess they didn't make enough ad revenue on it.
If you're looking for Flash games, I think well, Newgrounds is still around, though their games are kind of like split between Flash and HTML5. Congregate is also still around.
I wonder if I'm going to check, because there used to be a place that I would go to called Armor Games. That was always a good spot for them. Yeah, they're still around, and the site looks exactly the same.
Here's
And
something
these are, like, new.
Yeah. Here's something somebody posted just a few that I'm just now seeing on Security Team blog. Oracle VirtualBox has multiple guests to host escape vulnerabilities.
I recall,
the virtual boxers out here. Here you go.
Yeah, I recall seeing that something a while ago. Just in my Twitter feed.
Yeah, I just happened to stumble across it. I thought it was pretty interesting. Huh.
I pretty much covered everything I was going to bring up for tonight. Though people are more welcome to bring up anything new that they want to. I only added like one thing to the show notes because I don't know. It seems like it's been a slow week for news, or either that, or I just have had my nose in other things and just haven't been paying attention.
Well, no one seemed to really be interested in the legalese stuff, so I've been trying to avoid that. Plus, I'm not a lawyer, so I only speak from like techie hacker internet enthusiasts who read pseudo legal / tech blogs and news. So no one seems interested, so I'm avoiding that for now.
A legal issue. That's Chelsea Manning is apparently running for Senate or Congress?
Congress. Well, Congress. Senate is Congress.
Can they actually hold office though?
I don't see why she couldn't hold office.
Can you run for
I don't think she's going to win.
Well, yeah, even then, but I was wondering if the treason charges from before, because if the sentence was commuted, but it wasn't, what is it, exonerated, or what's the other term?
No, he was given a full pardon.
It was a full pardon?
Yeah. Because treason is, I'm assuming, a felony. I mean, seeing how the army can kill you for it. But
I didn't realize that you got a treason charge. I thought it was like a charge for disclosing classified information, like under the Espionage Act.
That might be right. I don't know.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm saying she didn't commit treason, but it's looking at the specifics of her. If she can run for Congress, that would be a big distinction. But yeah, considering Maryland is home to freaking Fort Meade and a bunch of other spooks in DC, well, while I've learned never to say never in regards to politics these days, I still think Manning has quite the long shot.
No, because everybody who's in that area knows how their bread's buttered.
Everyone what?
Everyone knows where their bread's buttered. They know where to get their money from.
Yeah. In somewhat interesting, amusing political news, I think it was Schumer had commented that the wall that Trump wants is not necessarily off the table. So there are actually somewhat serious talks about building that fucking wall.
Well, they keep calling it a wall, but what it's going to wind up being is more or less like a fence.
That's what it is now.
It will be shitposter mecca, is what it will be.
It's already there.
People will.
It's been there for years. We've been building it for literally decades, like 30, 40 years.
Yes, but and he's gonna have to learn to cut back his expectations because he wants a big fence from sea to shining sea, and it's not gonna quite be that way.
He already has been mentioning exceptions.
Can we also
Trump
acknowledge? Can we acknowledge the fact that a lot of immigrants are just going to go and get into the country over the air then illegally,
or the tunnels?
Yeah, that too.
That's how they mostly do it now, through tunnels, or hey, look, let me catch a flight to the U.S. and overstay my fucking visa.
Yeah. So if they want to get here, they're gonna figure out a way to get here. I don't know.
That's
my stance on it. But
I swear to God, if that thing gets built, it'll be covered in memes. It'll be tagged with memes from sea to shining sea.
No, it won't. It'll get
like I would probably go there and put a meme on that damn thing.
It'll get like maybe a 1 or 2 mile stretch of memes where it's easy to fucking access, because a lot of that, seriously, there's parts of the border to where it's nearly 500 to 600 miles for gas, food, or water.
I don't think you realize how dedicated some of these people are.
I don't think you realize how fucking hot it is in the middle of the desert when you're 600 miles away from water. Like they would literally have to come so well prepared. Like it would cost millions or thousands. I mean, it would cost more than what a normal person or any group of people would want to pay in freaking money and life.
I don't mean a normal person. Good Lord, no. I meant
even a group of crazy radicals.
You go ahead. I'm talking about like a rich person who has way too much money and time.
Dude, the Mexicans don't even cross in some parts. They literally will tell you, "Fuck no, I'll die." Like,
I believe it. I believe you 100%. I believe you 110%. At the same time, I see a video of I believe it. I'm not sure what else I'm to think after seeing a video of a fucking 12-ton limestone monument carved with internet memes buried in the Mexican desert. Just because why not? Runs 9gag did it. So to think if some random rich person is going to fund something retarded like that, then I wouldn't doubt that there would be concerted, well-funded efforts to cover that damn thing, no matter where it is in internet memes.
I mean, that'd be a lot of work, man.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt.
Could you imagine? I was
going
to say, could you just imagine like archaeologists finding those things like 300 years later and being like, we don't have any idea how to interpret it. And they just there's going to be like meme specialist archieologists in the future. That might be a thing.
They'll call Mexican hieroglyphics.
There's a 4chan effort to destroy that monument. There's a 4chan effort to destroy that limestone monument.
That's awesome.
They're talking about trying to find ways to like dig it up, cover it in vinegar.
Just freaking blow it up.
Like vinegar is supposed to react with limestone.
I mean, if you're gonna go through all that effort, might as well do something cool with it, right?
We have a lot of limestone where I live. I need to try that.
He just walks outside quick with a bottle of vinegar and just pours it on the rocks quick. Yep, that'll work.
I think of getting a piece from nearby falls of Ohio. There's a big fossil beds there. It's made out of a limestone that was laid down during the Devonian age.
Ooh.
Good luck.
I know there's also like a street artist I know who's like, I don't know if he's in the Israeli or Palestinian side border, but somewhere in that area, just constantly spray paints on the fucking wall on that border, just over and over and over again. There was when the one like they're the fucking spray paint of Osama bin Laden being a weeb, like with an anime girl hugging him. The contents of his computer was publicized, and he found out he liked to watch anime. Someone spray painted that on the fucking wall, like that separates like from the Palestinian territories in Israel.
He really was a monster.
Yeah. If you want, you can actually play his Animal Crossing save state. While the CIA did not publish the actual game, they published. He liked playing emulators of video games, including Animal Crossing. You're free to play Osama bin Laden's Animal Crossing save.
Yeah, I remember that.
What kind of future did we go into? Holy shit! Reality is a mindfuck.
Yeah. Just speaking of mind fucks, I was listening to the radio and to my normal rock station, and they were like, yeah, so apparently the guy who plays Barney now opened up like a sex like production store or something like that. I was like, what?
It's like
yes, the guy that portrayed Barney is into tantric sex.
All I was thinking was, I love
Is he a furry?
You love me. Let's get together. And it's just, I don't know. It's just gonna be like every title is gonna be start with like I love you, you love me, and then like some like pornographic like.
Yeah, my response was, I don't come on you, you don't come on me. We're part of a frustrating orgy.
There you go.
Because tantric sex, one part of tantric sex, I'm not mistaken, is you don't actually come.
Well, no, you come, but you redirect it inwards.
Leave it to Jack.
It'll have to come out eventually.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's supposed to. It's all about illuminating chakras and shit.
Barney the blue ball dinosaur.
Oh, and remember, some of the anime some bin Laden watched, Bible Black and Naruto were highlights. And yes, the uncensored Bible Black with all the nudity in it. It's just, I guess we know that people watch Naruto have something in common with Osama bin Laden. That's why it must be stopped.
I don't get it. What's this Bible Black? I don't know anything about anime.
I've not.
Was it Bible Black the original? Was it New Testament, or was it that shitty prequel?
Yeah, I'll say I'll check. I don't know. I think I watched a few episodes of that. Like a decade ago.
I love anime.
The only ones I really got into, I did get into Ranma 1/2 for a while because I thought that was pretty amusing, but Cowboy Bebop is about the only thing I really enjoyed.
Classic. That is a classic.
Love Cowboy Bebop.
My buddy ruined anime for me because he showed me that one first, and then it was just nothing could go up to it. Nothing was at par.
You know what I like too, and like I said, since working from home a lot, I look at a lot of anime. And I like Case Closed and like Black Clover, One Punch Man.
One Punch Man.
Yeah. How can you stand that screeching from Black Clover?
I don't know. I got used to it. This is coming from a guy who was sitting there playing around with buffer overflows for over a week. So,
okay,
like. Wrapped around some 32-bit assembly and calculating offsets so I can actually figure out how to control the EIP register. How can I jump to the proper address so I can point my EIP register over to my new shellcode? So you can imagine what my mind was like.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. so that's how I could stand all that screeching, like because I wanted to scream. So yeah. But no, anime is pretty cool. It just depends on what your mood is in too. So it's not like you can just like really just stay on one thing forever. Like it depends on what your moment is. Because sometimes I'll have an old school moment and I just want to go see Akira again.
Yeah.
And that's a really old one.
That's really old school.
Yeah, that was my first anime, was Akira.
Mine first, I think, besides something like Battle of the Planets, which is massively different between the American cut and the Japanese cut, something like Emoji Doji, what's Rise of the Overfiend or Legend of the Overfiend.
Classic.
Vape in it.
That's what I'm saying. So it depends on your mode. It depends on you know what? I look at anime like this. Anime is no different than music. Because everybody has that moment in certain times in their life or whatever that they just listen to certain kinds of music depending on how their day went, or maybe they're thinking of somebody that's not around anymore. I mean, different things like that. So it just depends. You know, like sometimes, like I told you before, I have my moments when I'm just in Amy Winehouse mode. Sometimes I'm in a 3-6 Mafia mode. Sometimes I could be in a Christina Perry mode with Jar of Hearts, and that's because I'm watching 9/11 videos, listening to Jar of Hearts. So it depends on what I'm doing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so same thing like with anime. Like some days I just want to go really old school, like Akira or even a Cowboy Bebop. And then some days I just, you just want to be stupid and watch Black Clover. It's just one of those things. Just depends on what you. And then Super Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I looked at a couple episodes of that. Huge fan of Crunchyroll. I hope they get it on the Nintendo Switch too. That'll make my life easier.
Yeah, Crunchyroll's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's how I discovered a lot of them.
Me too.
Yeah.
Isn't there something called manga as well?
I don't know.
Manga is like the comic book.
I thought you said mango. I'm like, what?
No,
manga.
No, sorry,
yeah.
Manga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manga.
So that's just the printed version of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it usually comes before the anime.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's really.
If you want to, you go ahead.
It's really funny because there's a couple times where you can read. This happened to Attack on Titan and Bleach. I know well, for Attack on Titan, the manga was already out, so everyone could like read up on it and figure out what was going, or like who was going to die and whatever. But the funny thing with Bleach is they actually caught up to the manga with the anime. So every time you see like a filler like storyline, it was okay. We have to wait for the new issue, so it'd be like 10 episodes or something like that. It was just insane.
Yeah. If you want a good anime to watch, like really full of substance, watch Juni Taisen. It's about 12 episodes. Really, really awesome stuff.
Okay.
It's on Crunchyroll, actually. It's where I first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Juni Taisen.
Attack of the Titans season 3 airs July 2018.
Still gotta watch season 2. It took so I watched the first season when it came out, and then it took so long to have the second season come out on anything. I was like, I don't know. I had moved on.
Well, the world we live in, everybody moves on pretty quickly. So.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
If you found a good older anime, but not too old, Tepa Tapa Gurren Lagann. If you like Black Clover, I think Gurren Lagann's a hell of a lot better, in my opinion, in that kind of style.
Somebody on the thread. 1 second. Somebody on the thread, Cricket Asterisk said. Cricket Asterisk says, anime is now illegal.
Yeah, it's true. Trump did declare it.
What? Somebody said it's illegal?
It's a meme where Trump says anime is now illegal.
Oh,
but they had that name for books too.
What was it?
That's been around forever. Yeah, no, because I worked at a Japanese import store when I was like 18, so I remember that.
Mary.
It's also accompanied by memes, and this one's probably more real than anything else. Trump will make anime real.
Illegal, not real.
No, there's a separate one that says real.
Oh, okay. What?
Okay, he better. No, that's where I draw the line. You can put your hands on anything else, but leave my anime alone. That's where I
it's
draw
just
the line.
you don't want to make anime real to come to life.
Like illegal, like no, we can't have this now. This is out of control. All right, we get
haven't you seen?
Stacey and Weinstein is out of control.
Battle Angel Alita is live action. They're making a live action Battle Angel Alita. They've been talking about it for years. It's finally coming to theaters.
Keep your stinking hands off my anime. That would be my sign.
I will admit it's very pretty. The trailer looks very pretty, but I don't like it when they touch it. I think they need to leave it alone. I agree with you totally on that because I'm a big pure. I don't even. I'm pure subtitle. Don't like dubs.
Live action what?
I love subtitles.
Oh, I know there's a live action Cowboy Bebop in the works, and it's been met with nothing but people saying, "How dare you? How dare you make this?"
They've been Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think Peter Jackson had his hands on it for a while. I don't know if that's still a go or not. Spring, they made that into live action. Another one.
Yeah, if they need to, some of these things they just need to leave alone. Like, I tell you, I already been burned badly by the Karate Kid. I don't need no more hassle. Like when they were talking about making a Top Gun 2, I'm like, Tom, you better step in there and say no.
Is that still a thing? Because I remember hearing about that like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I've heard somebody mention it like a couple of months ago, but I hope not. Just leave it alone.
The premise seemed really dumb too. It was supposed to be like jet fighters against drones or something like that, or like jet drones. It was weird.
That'd be like them remaking Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like Macross.
Somebody breathing heavy.
It's live.
Yeah. But no.
Are you still hearing it?
Not now.
No, you're good now.
Okay.
Like it's just certain things they just need to leave alone. Like, look what they did to the Ninja. Perfect example. Look what they did to Ninja Turtles. They don't look like turtles anymore. They look like monsters.
Yeah, that.
To me, look what oh god, who was it? Fuck. Transformers director Michael Bay. It was Michael Bay's fault. Yeah.
It is his fault. I don't like Michael Bay.
What was the other one that they upped up recently? Let me see.
Messing up the storyline.
Well, no, Michael Bay believes that special effects equals
Star Trek and Star Wars with friggin'
yeah. Trying to make Galvatron a truck. What's this when Galvatron was a truck?
Dude, we had again perks of working at import places. We had like the original, the gun. They actually, but in order to sell it, we had to take each one out of the package and transform it into the robot.
Jeez, that's
Did you guys have like a full ceremony where you guys all dressed up when you guys were assembling it?
No, they were a wholesale retail distribution company. So we could import the Transformers in from Japan, but as soon as they got them out of the container, you'd have to take them out of the package and transform them into the toy because you couldn't sell it if it was in the gun form because the way that the rules are in the US. So you had to transform it back into the robot before you could sell it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was mixing up two different bots. I was thinking you were talking about the Power Rangers Megazord. I don't know why that came in my head, but sorry, my bad.
No, the Megazord had like Lion things and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They tried to make Thundercats a live action. I remember I was almost on that. I was on the test footage for that, come to think of it. And that
sounds like a movie for furries.
Huh?
What's that?
Sounded like it would be a movie for furries. Hey, you gotta admit it, Thundercats.
Artwork is less furry than a lot of the furries are. I mean, Disney's Robin Hood is more furry than Thundercats' actual character designs are.
Thundercats is a little bit more homoerotic.
What?
Wait,
It was more of it's more of a style at the time, like He-Man-esque. It was a little bit homoerotic.
I don't know. Lionel's always talking about his hose.
pilot episode Thundercats butt ass naked.
You know, Thundercat hoe.
You make a very compelling point.
Oh, that's what that is. Thundercat hoe.
He did do that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and the whole time he's going out thunder, the sword keeps growing bigger and bigger.
You know what, Jack? I knew it. I was waiting.
You all make very compelling arguments, though the sword getting bigger does not really detract from my homoerotic statement at all.
It does. And look, it even like the long sword.
And by the way, what the fuck is a somaflange?
A what?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, if I was home, I would be feeding all my quotes in because I have all the cut Thundercat quotes from that grouping, and they're all hilarious.
And even Snarl, he's like, I know. Yeah, Snarl, I know. And Shatara just wearing all kinds of stuff.
You know, one of the weird bits of obscure trivia I remember is the guy who did the voice for
Panthro?
Panthro, I think maybe. He was also the dad of Cliff Huxtable in the Cosby Show.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, oh, Panthro. He had the spiked suspenders.
Yeah, the nunchucks with the little paws in the end.
I like the children because they were throwing those little explosive balls. Oops.
Kitten cat, right? Kitten cat.
Yeah. Every time they were riding boards and throwing explosive balls. But yeah. It was all kinds of, now that I think about it, it had a mixture of everything. It had a mixture of dominatrix with the whole whips and chains and stuff, and yeah. It's kind of different. Yeah. Never thought about it.
Well, there was so much shit in 80s cartoons, though. That's why when the 90s came around, that they forced you to have to be educational, and that just destroyed everything.
Oh, like
the 90s was also super violent at times.
The 90s,
like Beavis and Butthead was so educational.
I was gonna say.
In South Park, I learned a lot about alien anal probes from when South Park came out.
Oh no, it was only the educational content they have was only for network television, and it was only and it was loosened up by the time you got to about 96, I think. And what was South Park came out like 96, 97, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
maybe it might be 94. Come to think of it, might have been middle school.
Damn it!
But the restrictions were broadcast television was supposed to have an educational content and kid shows, but cable was pay to play, so it wasn't required. So that it might have been how South Park got away with it. Plus, also time slot because it was not meant for children. It had an MA rating, therefore it didn't have to have a requirement because it came on after it was like after 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So that there were certain FCC requirements you could get away with and not have to do. And not have to conform.
And then we got Family Guy.
Cartoons were supposed to have an educational requirement, so that's why your G.I. Joe, you'd have your, now you know, and they would run all those PSAs in between, and
the 18.
Yep.
Yeah. No, the 18.
So freaking hokey.
Mr. T show. He said. Mr. T have all that gold chain. He walk around the kid. Hi, Mr. T. Hey, y'all. Now, you got to work hard for what you want. It just don't come out the sky for you. You got to learn to work hard. My mom and daddy always taught me hard work plus believing in yourself equals success.
Just screaming at these little kids.
Little kids.
You guys have all seen it. You guys have all seen the recut G.I. Joe promos, right? Because they're all hilarious. Pork chop sandwiches.
I was about to say the same thing.
Oh my god.
The pet tour.
I forgot pork chop sandwiches.
Bless you.
Get the fuck out of here! The house is on fire! Why the fuck are you still in here? Get the fuck out!
I love it. And I miss, you know what else I miss? King of the Hill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm seeing all these King of the Hill memes these days.
Especially when the Macho Man was on it.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? That's my favorite. I think I saw a meme about talking to management or something like that, and their response was that meme.
So, you know how Disney bought out, a lot of Fox shows, like including, I think they also bought out King of the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, since there's a Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out, is it possible Hank Hill will be in Kingdom Hearts?
Can you just have like propane tank?
Let a petition going now for that shit. Get it on that petition friggin' site ass thing is and get that going. That needs to happen. No, I think the reason that they did that is because Disney owns Marvel. Marvel Universe desperately needs a lot of their character licensing back. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. That's why Disney bought Fox. They have X-Men, and you need X-Men in order to properly do the rest of the Marvel films. And at the same time, I know that there's an agreement with Sony for Spider-Man, but I wish, for the love of God, they would just buy that goddamn license back. So they just had full creative control over it again.
I think the problem with that is Sony just won't give it to them. Like, even if they were to buy it.
At least they give them partial ownership, and at least they have it to the point where Marvel Disney is the ones with the final say on the character, because Sony completely fucked that shit up.
Well,
there's come to the point where they won't give up the full licensing, but they realize that they suck at what they're doing, and they're at least going to make bank off of owning it still.
Wasn't there an animation that Sony was putting out that was it was like a standalone like Spider-Man animation about it's a different Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's the Black Spider-Man. It's one of the newer ones. So
yeah,
because I know they've done a lot of character reboots recently, and they've done a lot of passing of the torch. So that it's that one. And that it's I think it was at the beginning of the last Star Wars. I don't like it stylistically because it's weird. It's like, it's 3D. It's like, but it has this bizarre mix of comic book photorealism and stop motion. It has a very strange choppiness to it from what I've seen from the trailer, and that I makes me uncomfortable. So I don't just like physically like it makes me dizzy. What I mean? It just I don't like the look of it. And so I have no clue how the story is going to be, but just straight from a visual perspective, there's just something disturbing about it that I don't like.
The latest Star Wars movie?
No, the Spider-Man. Yeah. So, but I just remember looking at it going like, I kind of understand what they're trying to make it look more comic book like, but it's like they threw too many filters at
it. It kind of looked like Big Hero 6 to me. Like that. Did you see it on a big screen or little screen? Because I can imagine if you looked at it on a little screen, it probably looks more like Big Hero 6. I just saw a trailer.
On movies, yeah, when you see the trailer on a film on a movie screen when it's blown up like that, it looks like a mix between Nightmare Before Christmas and the way that they have the timing, because it's very choppy. Then they have a comic book color separation filter on it, and then they also have elements where the background looks more realistic almost, but not quite. So it's a really strange style that it just feels like there's too much shit being thrown at it. So it just makes it uncomfortable.
It's like trying to do too many innovative things at the same time, and you end up just making a mess.
And that's kind of what I feel like with this. It's like, okay, if you had chosen to pick like just the comic filter, maybe, picking your lines a little bit slightly cartoony, you could do kind of that print separation if you really want to with the color dots on the edges, which is what they were doing. Okay, I can maybe deal with that after a while. but they did that. Plus, it's 3D that's trying to look like it's stop motion, and there's just too much stuff going on. There's just way too much going on. So it's going to make it uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, that, in my opinion, is a franchise that just has been like shot. It's like beating a dead horse way too many times to the point like you're just hitting bone. It's like I grew up on the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and those were fine, and those kind of ended on a good note in my mind. But I was also a kid, and I was kind of a dumb kid. But
I like the first.
The very first Spider-Man movie was excellent. And then the second one was like meh, and then by the time they got to the third one with him, they like completely effed it up. So then they rebooted it with Sparkles, and then I don't think Sparkles was any better. So
Sparkles?
And it was the same guy that played the what's his face from Twilight series, right?
It is?
No. Andrew Garfield. Wait, was it Andrew Garfield in
I don't know. I thought
Twilight?
I gotta look that up too.
I don't believe it is. I'm just gonna look. I don't.
No, double check to see if that's also
What's the main
Sparkles.
vampire? That's for sure.
I know the Sparkles that played Cedric Diggory from Harry Potter.
Yeah, so you're thinking of Robert Pattinson, and they do sort of look
a lot
like. They kind of look like they could be like brothers, but
Sparkles.
Yeah, different person.
Better
Both English.
than Sony's friggin' interpretation where they had poor Tobey Maguire do that friggin' hipster bullshit dance. It was cringeworthy.
That was just bad the first time I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh. No, I actually really liked Spider-Man 2 because it kind of went more like I grew up on like the cartoons and stuff before the movie, so I knew like his whole backstory. So seeing 2 with being like, how does he deal with this like after like high school, and how does he keep like going through his life and actually being not just Spider-Man and like balancing both things.
I thought the second was pretty good. The second one was pretty well received. As far as some people say, it's better than the first one. One thing about the new Spider-Man, though, at least this guy actually looks like he could be a high school student.
Oh yeah, God, like, I love this. I love this reinterpretation that Disney did. But then again, I worked on with them, so I may be slightly biased, but they've done such a good job.
The best part of that movie is Michael Keaton. That just hands down the best part. Like I didn't like it could have been called Vulture, and I would have gone to see that movie. It was he was so good in that.
Oh yeah.
I went and saw that with my buddies, and every time Michael Keaton would show up, I would be like, "It's Batman."
It's the only Batman there is, because nibbles.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah, God. And then we can go at Warner Brothers with their whole '90s Batman, which when I was dating, I think Jeff and I saw every single one of those together. That was we saw all the Batman back in like middle school and high school. They were so bad, but they were so much fun.
I still think Val Kilmer Batman is just hilarious to watch. It's just so bad. There was it was Honest Trailers did a video on it, and they were like, watch as Val Kilmer can't shut his mouth, and it just shows like every shot of him in the batsuit, and he just can't shut his mouth with the batsuit on.
Because he couldn't breathe.
Yeah,
he literally couldn't breathe through his nose. So he had no choice.
Just sitting there.
Well, they should have just given the poor guy like a nasal cannula or some shit, O2 or air, pump it into the helmet. But oh my God.
Batman would have that, so why can't Val Kilmer?
The new ones are really pretty, but I can't. They're almost too dark for me, so I can't watch them because there's things that just creep me out, and there's too many elements in that film of stuff that freaks me out that I just don't. It's not worth it for me. But stylistically, from what I've been able to watch of them, they've been really good.
Talking about Batman still?
Yeah. Now we're on Batman.
Okay.
The new Batman. That was the latest reboot was actually they were pretty good.
I have to admit, I kind of fell out of the series after Dark Knight. I just kind of figured it was going so progressively edgy. I wouldn't be surprised if Batman turned feral and started eating babies in the follow-up series.
There's actually
that's
a
why I said
comic book line for that.
I can't get fully through them because there's parts that are too dark for me to handle for a Batman film. So, but I'll judge. I'll also judge on artistic and pacing and a few other things for movie quality because that's my. So, yeah. So of what I have been able to watch of it from a visual perspective, they were very, very nicely done.
We're talking about the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, or like the new DC like expanded universe movies.
They're finally maybe sort of kind of starting to come into their own. Although they're a very rocky start from what I have seen. There's others I just haven't. I think I've seen bits and pieces of Superman. And it just pissed me off, so I couldn't keep watching it. I didn't bother seeing the Batman versus Superman or whatever the hell that was. Everyone just said, don't bother. I did see Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman I was pleasantly surprised.
Wonder Woman was an awesome movie. I loved that movie.
Yeah, Wonder Woman, I was very pleasantly surprised with Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was like, to me, it was, I was going into it thinking this is going to be bad because it was going to be in the same universe of like Man of Steel, which I watched and it was kind of and then I saw all the reviews for Batman v Superman, and then I saw like the tail end of it when a couple of my brothers were watching it, and I was like, oh, they did this storyline. I'm not gonna spoil it.
I've caught in bits and pieces, like going into Sam's Club and Walmart, and it's just like I can't even. So
yeah, this is. And also with Man of Steel, it seemed really weird the direction that they wanted to take with Superman, which I understood because that's where the comics have been kind of taking him, where he's not just like this all-encompassing like Boy Scout, I'm always the good guy. He has to like are
you very edgy kind of emo?
Yeah, he's like emo. It's like emo Superman.
Yeah.
But in the comics and even in video games and even in the TV shows from like the 2000s, they were starting to portray Superman as kind of like this villain or like this force that if he were to turn bad, it's like we need to figure out how to kill him.
In the comics, that has been kind of a steady thing with the Kryptonite issue from day one, or even you go back to like the cartoon Justice League that USA used to show.
Yeah.
That was friends. Even then, they said these are the things that can happen if Superman comes in contact with Kryptonite. He can either grow old, grow young, get extremely weak, or become evil. And those were their 4 categories that they had for Superman. And so that's been there since like the 80s, but it wasn't really played upon so much until like 2000. Because even when I was still reading, but when I was young, there's kind of an arc you go through. Like when you're younger, you tend to be a little more into DC because at the time, like 90s and 2000s, it was still the brighter of the comic series. Is almost a little more silly, and Marvel was very edgy and down to earth. So when you got a little bit older, you'd start getting into the Marvel stuff because you'd understand it better because the way that you'd connect with it. And so I started off. I love my Flash comics and Impulse and Young Justice, and those were all my comics. But that was about the time that Batman started going into like No Man's Land and all those. And so when Batman started getting really dark, the other comics gradually started following suit.
Wouldn't that have been around the time when they killed off Robin and made Red Hood a thing? That storyline too.
Yep. So that was right around there. It started getting darker and darker, and because I think even the Young Justice Robin was the second Robin. I don't know. I gotta remember this because there's like there's first Robin was Nightwing, and then you had second Robin, then you had Damian, and so there was a progression of Robin.
Yeah. So, from what I've seen, and if I'm wrong, I'll probably get corrected on this. But from the Young Justice show, it was the first Robin started Young Justice as kind of like their team captain, and then he went off and became Nightwing, or like progressively became Nightwing, and then Tim Drake's Robin came in.
Then actually Jason Todd after Grayson, there was Jason Todd, then Tim Drake, and now I think isn't it like some
Damian.
Damien, which is like a son via Talia al Ghul.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like kind of a clone or something. It's weird, but yeah.
No, he's just a straight kid.
Is he really? Because I haven't been in like that side of it for a while. So okay.
Yep, Batman and Son.
I went out and got a job, and we were on 4, and then I've been like straight Marvel ever since because I've worked with those people, and they're fucking awesome. So that's kind of what happened. So,
yeah. Batman and Son came out like 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, and then they even made like an animation about it, which was complete crap. The animation was crap. The comic was 10 times better.
That's unfortunate though, because Warner Brothers Animation, when you they're fucking phenomenal. I mean, there's a lot of the Warner Brothers animated that's better than the comics.
Yeah.
So you gotta
The Flashpoint comes to mind. That was really good. That animation was really good. Thomas Wayne Batman for the win.
Versus on the other side, the Marvel ones I've seen, they tend to be slightly hokier. Like they're still okay, but their animation side feels too soft. It doesn't seem to bring out as much emotion.
Yeah, after they got acquired by Disney, that seemed to be the real case. They got like really like emotional or like really like corny. For instance, like you watch Planet Hulk, which is an animation that they made, but right before they were bought out by Disney, it's super like dark and grim.
Season 1 to season 2, because I noticed that on a couple I was watching on Netflix, and it's like, oh wow, first season's awesome, and then something happened and not.
Oh, Avengers versus Heroes.
Yeah. But on the flip side, the cinematic universe is just the opposite. Cinematic universe, and even to a degree, a lot of the TV universes, because it's the same group of people that tries to keep fingers in all of them. That team's been great. That team's been really good. So I think I was Victoria. That's Alonzo's team, and they've been great. So I had worked on the Thor, Captain America, and the first Avenger movie. So those were my 3 babies.
Nice.
And so I got in on stage. And then if I'd stayed out in Hollywood, I'd still be working on them because the studio that does the conversion has been the same studio the entire time. So they won the bid when they were working on a bid for it for the Comic-Con in 2010, the year that I had just started. They had a deal going on. They got the bid, and then they did Thor, and then they immediately just got like all the contracts after that. So they do majority of the 3D conversion for the Marvel films.
That's super cool.
But it was beautiful stuff, and they're a lot of fun. Like Josh Whedon actually came to the studio. I was so sad I missed that, but he actually came and like thanked the visual effects artists and the people that were working on it, which is so rare because directors rarely actually take time out to come on the floor and like acknowledge the people that are doing the post. So that was really nice.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's awesome. I really loved the Avengers movie just because it felt like it meshed so well together with all the characters.
Well, I think that their casting was the best casting I think I've ever seen for like anything. Like I honestly, they just dead on. So they did an excellent job.
Yeah.
But again, I'm buying.
Like, yeah, that's cool.
I'm trying to think any other superhero movies I've worked on. Mostly Marvel stuff. Oh, I did work on Green Lantern, sort of, kind of. No, I worked on Green Arrow, Green Hornet. Worked on Green Hornet, Green something or other. We didn't do Green Lantern. That went to who got that? Prime Focus got that one. We had half of the Green Hornet, and you can tell the 3D that we did compared to theirs. There's a distinctive difference in the quality.
Wasn't that a Seth Rogen superhero movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, or he had like his car. I never saw it. Yeah.
It was pretty much dead on to the comic, because he was kind of the asshole, and it really was the sidekick that was doing everything. But yeah, that was kind of the point. But, it was all right. It was fun. It was fun. What wasn't fun was Jackass. Jackass wasn't too fun. And then Johnny Knoxville broke our couch.
Is that like in his contract? If he enters a room, he has to break something?
I don't even know, man. All I know is that we had one of those like folding futon couch things in the screening room, and then I walk over there one day and it's like broken in the hallway, and it's like, what the hell? And they're like, Johnny Knoxville broke our couch. And I think that they're telling the guy they wanted to be angry or honored, so it was one of those. Oh my god.
What's funny is I own something similar to that, so I just pictured like my futon just like split in half or something like that. It's like, how do you?
It's a bed now. Not gonna. Right, whatever. Like, but that one was so comfy. Where are we gonna take naps now? Because you'd work like 3 days straight sometimes doing deliveries. It was not uncommon. We actually bought a bunk bed when we moved to our new studio, and in the cage, because you have to have like your server cage. So in the server cage, where we had like a pseudo data office, we could lock our LTOs up and stuff. We actually put a bunk bed, so we had a place to sleep when we were doing like 3-day deliveries, because we couldn't go home because we were on call like constantly. We just sleep in the studio.
Were they Marvel themed?
No, we just got like a Target sheets, just so we had like a blanket, and we just come like crash down there.
That's still pretty cool.
Well, yeah. Well, when you're doing that, when you haven't left for a week, sometimes that's your best bet. Yeah, these deliveries are always crazy. It was funny. I actually met some people on Twitch this morning that one of the streamers, her husband was also Digital Domain, but he's much later. And so I was mentioning some stuff that we were doing when I used to run the render farm, and she's like, "Oh, well, he just works from home now and he's running it," and which we weren't allowed to do at the time. And he's like, "Someone never has to go in for any of this." And I'm telling her about, we had to like physically reboot the servers because half the time, the UPS, the remote devices weren't working, and so we'd have to this would happen like every time the wind would blow in Venice, you'd have to go, and so I'm explaining this, and we're explaining like. We'd mentioned, and they're like, "Oh, well, we've just like literally scripted that whole render farm now, so like no one has to do anything. It's all push button." I'm like, "I know. I wrote a lot of the bash scripts because that was my alias file was huge because I just wrote all this shit into my alias file so I could just like one shot trying to run the farm from command line, because it wasn't built in at the time. We were still using like a 10-year-old plus system because they hadn't upgraded to Cube yet." So, but just telling me what the upgrades were, and they literally turned my job into a small shell script.
Life in IT, I guess.
Yep, pretty much. So that's super happy fun times.
If you have a job that can be scripted, it will be scripted, and you won't have a job anymore.
Well, that was like tonight we're in the third the spanning tree class for the Cisco classes. And they're just starting. He's just starting to talk about like Ether channel, and I'm just kind of smiling. He's like, "Yeah, if you can hook 4 of these together." The other kids they never heard of it before. Like, "Yeah, you can hook 4 of these together, and you can get like 40 gig pipe." And I'm just kind of giggling. I'm like, "Well, you can go faster than that if you know what you're doing." Because they're like, no, it's like no, because they have no one else heard of this shit because they're it's not something that they would be familiar with. And I'm like, and he's like, "Oh, what if you hook it up like this, what'll happen?" Because on like regular protocol, if you have 3 things interconnected like that, it's going to shut 3 of them down and only open 1 port unless you have it, linked. And I'm kind of giggling. I go, "Well, if you're running an Isilon, it'll work just fine." And he just smiles because he knows and I know. And because that was my job as a data admin, and so I had to take the Isilon training classes. And part of that was learning how these all daisy chain together with Ether channel and what you could do to maximize your throughput and your bandwidth. And they were fun. I mean, and how I was telling one of the other kids in class, I'm like, just for reference, when we were finished backing up Titanic was 40 terabytes on storage. So when it got converted to number, you have to do right eye and left eye for stereo. So you're basically doubling the movie. And Titanic's data, when it was done after we had stripped down all the necessary stuff be able to do a restore to get assets back, 40 terabytes is how big that is. And stuff's only gotten bigger since then. So yeah, it's like crazy.
Holy crap.
But I'm gonna hop off a minute because I gotta go check my animals, and then I gotta get upstairs, and I'm probably gonna hop over on Twitch, so I'll be on my stream tonight.
Yeah, I don't have much else to say for the night stream. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before closing?
I did just read of a new cryptocurrency that came out, Ponzi coin.
That doesn't sound promising.
Well, it is apparently far more transparent than most other cryptocurrencies.
At least it's honest.
Yes, they have an explainer page and everything.
Oh.
Didn't Robert De Niro make his own currency?
Did you guys see the Shmoo blockchain? I was informed that it would be a regular currency by next Wednesday.
I've not seen it, but I don't doubt it.
You need to look up
millions
the Shmoo literal blockchain. They made a literal blockchain. It is chain and wood.
You now need to post a picture of the goat that is I hear in the background on your Twitter feed.
It's all of them is the problem, is because they're hungry and they're assholes. I mean,
but I now want to pet them though.
Oh, fine. Here. No, here. Let me see if I can get Can I put the light on? No, go the other way and put the light on. Oh, Google, you're not letting me put the light on. No, that's me. Go that way. Here, I don't know. I don't even know if you can see them.
See them a little bit.
There's that's ice cream and there's baby and there you go. There's goats. Okay, I gotta go get them snackies. And I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, talk to you later, man.
Yep.
See ya.
Nice talking with you.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only thing I had to say to close out the night.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, nothing too pressing.
Well, I'll catch you guys next week. You all have a good evening. I'm gonna crash out and get some more sleep.
Night, Adrian.
Night, folks.
Have a good night.